Hey, Bob, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm so excited to be here tonight and learn a little bit of your mixed mastery.
I am so excited to be here with you guys. Happy holidays. Here we go, right?
Absolutely. I cannot wait.
Well, why don't you tell everybody what we're doing tonight, and then I'll make sure that I have all my stuff set up, and then we'll get moving, right? Because it's time to have some Ripples cocktails, right? And talk about egg whites and Aquafaba and bourbon and sours and stuff. I mean, this is going to be so great. So happy
Abs-
to see you. It's been too long. When was the last time I saw you in person?
you know what? That actually was March 7th, 2020, right when I flew to Charlotte.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because the Gritty Mule was just getting ready to. Well, we were thinking about opening, right? I
Yeah,
remember. That's crazy. Right before the shutdown.
it feels like a world away. Absolutely. We live in a different world nowadays, don't we? But
That's
hey, we get to
so
meet
different.
again
Yeah,
online. It's pretty exciting.
I'm ready. I'm ready. So tell us what we're doing today. Take it away.
All right. So for a special edition of Mixed Drink Mondays, we are live with, of course, as you can see, Bob Peters here on Instagram. And we're going to cover 3 cocktails that are going to help us enjoy those holiday seasons a little bit better, show you how the Ripple Maker can top those off with a beautiful garnish, and talk a little bit about how to make foamy drinks and how to get the best kind of foam on top of those drinks so you can get them printed.
That's
Let's
it.
get started. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so as we started talking to Emily and I started talking about this, we started talking about different cocktails and different ideas and things that we wanted to do. I wanted to do some very simple cocktails that were similar to each other, but just a little bit different, so you can tell and you can see what how some similar but different ingredients work with each other. And not only that, but I also wanted to use one of my favorite spirits in the whole world, which of course is bourbon or whiskey or something brown and aged that you have. That's right, you got some Johnny Red over there. I personally brought some small batch 1792 with me today. And so I think we probably ought to just start off by tasting just a little bit of what we have to begin with. So I'm just going to pour myself like the tiniest taste of the small bat 1792 right here. And that way we can see what we're working with. And then as we march through these drinks, we're going to show you how to build cocktails in the right order and also how to build them sort of safely, but I mean safely so that you'll like them better, but also in the safety of your own home, right? We've all missed our bars and restaurants, and no more than me. Certainly, I've barely been to work in the past 700 months, it feels like. So I just want to show you guys how to be able to enjoy a nice, beautifully crafted cocktail. And then we're going to add some beautiful Ripples images to the tops of our drinks, because you shouldn't drink naked, right? Isn't that right? I
No
think.
more
Or
naked drinks.
no
Exactly.
more
That's one
naked
of our
drinks. That's right. Okay.
favorite things to say.
Well, cheers, guys. Happy holidays. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's have just a little bit of sip of whatever you're sipping on to get things started, and that way we can get things moving here. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Uh, that's really beautiful. I'm not sure if anybody else out there has any small batch 1792 that they happen to be working with today. However, I love this bourbon because it has a really beautiful, smooth flavor. It does have a little bit of heat in the mouth, but it's not a burn, so it's not too hot. And then, of course, a little bit of a warming sensation as you swallow it. But that's the good part, right? That's the good part. Not only that, but small batch not only is something that you can sip on, but it also is something that makes really great cocktails. Okay, so when you get something for a reasonable price, this small batch is retailing around here in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the east coast of the U.S. for about $30 US, somewhere around there, which I think is very, very reasonable. And one of the reasons why
Absolutely.
it's around is a possible daily sipper. So something that you can sip on, something that you can make cocktails, and something that doesn't break the bank. I really, really love to have laying around, and small batch is definitely no exception. So let's go ahead and get started. And we'll, all three of these cocktails that I selected today are sort of in the sour family, and they're very similar to each other. However, their taste way different from each other. So I'm just going to start off with one glass, and because we're using our ripples makers today, I'm going to put everything sort of in that neat or up format. So let's start off with our shaker, and then I'm going to put in 2 ounces of my small batch 1792. Emily, if you want to put 2 ounces of that Johnny Red in there for me. No, don't put the ice. Okay, don't put the ice in. Get
right behind you.
We got 2 ounces.
2 ounces is actually 60 milliliters for us metric lovers over here in the European region.
That's it, 6 ml, baby. 6. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce. What's that translation there, Em?
3/4 of an ounce is, wow, you caught me on the oddball one. 3/4 of an ounce, we'll call that
20.
I think it's oh, is it 22 mLs?
22 ml.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay. So now we've got our bourbon or our whiskey in there. We also have some fresh squeezed lemon juice. And if I can jump up on the soapbox for a minute, no matter what you guys do, no matter how you're making your cocktails at home, one thing to make sure that you're doing beyond any shadow of a doubt is using fresh squeezed citrus juice. Now, I juiced this this morning and things are ready to go. I've got a little bit of fresh orange juice, fresh lemon, and then I made some syrups, including some simple syrup and something else I've got a little special for you guys here in a little while. However, just make sure that you're not buying the bottled stuff in the grocery store, like those little lemons or those little limes in the grocery store. That's not real citrus, right? That's like citrus, terrible flavoring in it, and it doesn't taste the same, and it hurts me in my palate, in my head, and in my heart to think that anybody's using that. So you guys, please just do me a favor, just in the holiday season at least, and squeeze some fresh citrus, right? It takes about 4 minutes, and it's totally worth it. Once you try these cocktails, you're going to love this, okay? So there's my soapbox moment. Back to okay, so let's go back in. Let's do 1 full ounce of our simple syrup. Now, I do my simple syrup just a little bit different. Some people do theirs 1 part water, 1 part sugar. I do mine less sweet. I'm not a big fan of super sweet stuff. So I do mine 2 parts water, 1 part sugar, and that sort of cuts things down. I think it really smooths out a drink really well and makes it a little bit easier to sort of catch that perfect balance, okay? So here's the interesting part, and the one thing that I definitely want you guys to take away other than the fresh citrus tip is that the simple syrup, right, if you don't like things very sweet like I don't, then we're just going to start off with like that 1/2 ounce or that ounce or that, somewhere around that 30 milliliter sort of area, okay? So inside of that, I just want you guys to make sure that you can catch that balance really well, right? So if it's not sweet enough when we finish doing this drink, then you can always add a little bit more, right? Put it back in the shaker, shake it up real quick, put it back in there, and then it's ready to go, okay? But all you want to do is just add a little bit at a time, right? Just a little bit. I do like 1/4 ounce more just to see if I can catch that perfect balance. But we really want you guys to understand that this is all about you and your personal taste. So if you do like things super sweet, then you can always add sugar, but once you put it in there, you can't take it out, okay? So just be careful, a little bit at a time. It actually makes a huge difference. All right. You ready, lady? All right, let's put that in there. Let's give it a dry shake, right? You guys noticed that we hadn't put any ice in this yet. Okay, so we're just going to give it a little bit of a shake, just a little bit to get it mixed up. I'm going to put some, if you want to put an egg white in right now, you're welcome to. I'm going to use Aquafaba, which is an egg white alternative, which is really kind of a neat thing. This actually is made from chickpea water or garbanzo beans, right? So I just found just a can. Yeah, there it is. Just a can.
Yeah, that's the can.
Grocery store chickpeas, right? And then you literally just drain the peas off and use the water that it's packed in. It's a little salty, and the chickpeas or the garbanzo beans, whatever you want to call them, they actually act just like egg whites, right? And so the foam will sit up there and make this beautiful foam for our ripples to work on. And it's kind of amazing. People do this for vegan meringue and egg white substitutes in baking all the time. We do this with bartending, right? So absolutely. I'm going to use 1 ounce of Aquafaba or garbanzo bean water, chickpea water, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use a full ounce of that. If you're using egg whites, an ounce will do, or just 1 egg white. Just 1 egg white from 1 egg. Okay, let's get that another dry shake. All right, give it a good shake. We're going to get that all nice and aerated in there. We're going to get it nice and mixed up after you have added a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of ice.
What's a little bit, Bob?
I mean, I don't know, handful, somewhere around there. You don't have to go crazy. I'm trying not to use all my ice at once. And then really lock that down. So I'm twisting that, turning it, and getting it down, right, all down in the end there. Make sure to use one hand on the top and a hand on the bottom. And then let me see you shake it, lady. There it is. Keep going.
Give him hell, Bob.
Keep going. Go. Woo. Too much. Okay. All right. So that's it. So let's strain this off into our glass, and we're gonna start to let this settle out a little bit. So we're gonna let that egg white foam or that Aquafaba foam set up in our glass.
Mine looks perfect, Bob.
Well, that's because you're perfect, Emily.
You said it to me.
All right. That's so good. Okay. So as you guys will notice, there's sort of an ombre effect going on, and I hope you guys can see this. What's happening is a little bit darker at the bottom of your glass, and as those bubbles sort of settle out and make that really beautiful foam on top, what's happening is it's going to get darker in the cocktail, which is good. That's exactly what we want it to be. Okay, and so we do need to let that set up just a little bit, but I think, Emily, if you're ready, I think it's time to do.
All right, I've actually got the layer already formed on top, so we've got that beautiful, perfect foam, as you can see. So I'm just gonna stick that right in my ripple maker here, and we have a special extract. I think we sent you a cartridge, Bob. And let's open the ripple maker up and see some magic happen. We're actually using our black carrot cartridge tonight, which is made from natural extracts from the black carrot, and it comes out the most beautiful red festive color. Because pomegranates are plenty here in Israel, we have some freshly picked pomegranates, so we're going to add those actually on top as a garnish as well beside our Santa. So let's just stick that on our Santa. And it's just extra festive. So there we go. We can see we've got beautiful Santa on top of our cocktail.
I'm still working on mine. Mine's printing right now. I've got my printer rocking in the garage bar.
Absolutely.
And let me see what we got here.
What'd you print, Bob? What'd you print? I got Santa on.
Let me see if I can. I got something else. Let's see if I can bend my camera down and you can see it.
All right, that's Santa's slogan, isn't it? Is that what we say? So there we go.
There it is.
Sharing our drinks.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, thank you. All right. Now we get to drink them, right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Taste test. Make sure it's delicious. We can do that, right?
Oh gosh,
Oh,
mine's
that's
really
so
good.
great.
That's really good. Did you use egg white or aquafaba? Yum.
So we actually have a question from our audience, from actually a very special guest that has been joining us. Mia, Master Louise has a question.
Hey!
Special shout out to Mia. And how are you doing, Mia? I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I'm so glad you could join us. And Mia, would you like to join us? Let's see what Mia says. I don't know. We're hearing from the production team. We can keep drinking as Mia figures out if she's going to join us or not. But someone actually had asked us if we use smoke in our cocktails. So, Bob, do you work with smoke in whiskey sours and whatnot?
I have never thought about doing that, but that is a great idea. So of course, sometimes people with the whiskey sour tend to stray away a little bit because of the egg white. And then sometimes people don't know what aquafaba is. So then again, that sort of gets them to stray away from that. I have worked with a little bit of smoking cocktails in my past before, and it's a lot of fun and a great experiment to have. I have found out though that if you are shaking a cocktail that has been smoked, it sort of shakes out some of the smoke flavor. Now,
All right.
yeah, I know. Sometimes people may tell you that that's not the case for them, but I found out to be true that once you shake a smoked cocktail, that it sort of mutes that smoke flavor that I'm trying to get out of there so much. But in some cases, I'm sure that wouldn't be such a bad idea. But that would be really interesting. I wonder if you could smoke the aquafaba. That's really interesting.
I like that idea. That's
Is.
really interesting.
That is neat.
Mia has a message for us, and she says we look great. So she says it's great to see us. So a huge thank you to Mia.
We hung out with Mia from Bar Rescue in Chicago, and we fast became friends. And we all had a bunch of cocktails together one night, and
One or
that was
two.
amazing time. Mia, we miss you.
Really? Mia. All right, I actually have a question. You know, a lot of people ask me all the time, and I work with a lot of brands that are really worried about using Aquafaba. That's chickpea water, okay? For any of those that are just joining us now, we're actually using chickpea water to make our cocktails super frothy, and it's a vegan alternative that you can use to get that beautiful froth without using eggs. So a lot of people are wondering and always asking me, does it actually have a flavor? Bob, can you answer?
I would say that it has a slight flavor in the same way that an egg white has a slight flavor. So I will keep aquafaba around once I open it up and drain it off. I'll keep it for about 2 days. After that, it's kind of like egg whites. It's sort of, and this isn't going to be a super popular thing that I'm going to say, but it starts to smell kind of like wet dog. I know that's so, but it's so true. It's so true. Okay. So if you're not dealing with super fresh eggs, or if you crack some egg yolks ahead of time, then there's only a short amount of time, meaning a day or so, that you can keep it around. So I think that aquafaba chickpea water has a slight flavor to it. It's just a touch salty, and I think that's probably because they use just a little bit of salt in the water that they pack with the chickpeas.
Amazing. Thanks, Bob, for answering.
Well, should we do another cocktail?
I think it's time for another cocktail. We'll give this to the production team, see if they like it.
Yeah, share the wealth, right? Share the wealth. I actually have a neighbor here with me, and I'm making him drink all the drinks. So by the end of it, I still can do some things. It's still only 2:30 today here on the East Coast of the U.S. So I can't get there quite yet. But I might drink.
You see why we do this on Mondays?
He may not get all of them. Okay, how about another drink, lady? Are you ready for another
All
drink?
right. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, so we're gonna start this off. This is so similar to the last one, but when I was thinking about the cocktails that I wanted to do, obviously whiskey sour is sort of the base of some really fun, very easy egg white cocktails to do. Just whiskey, lemon, egg white, and sugar, right? Like that's the easiest thing in the whole world. So I wanted to riff off that just a little bit. And the first thing that came to my mind was one of an uber classic cocktail, but it actually is made with gin in it. So what I wanted to make for you guys was just a little bit of twist on the classic called a Clover Club. And this one is really super, super yummy. And we're going to make it with bourbon instead of gin, okay? Is that okay? Is that cool?
Absolutely. I'm
Okay.
all about the bourbon instead of the gin.
Let's do some bourbon. All right, so let's do 2 ounces again of our bourbon or whiskey. Now, if you're trying to go a little bit easy, then certainly you can knock that down a little bit. So here with our ounce measurements, I would go an ounce, 1.75, 1.5 ounces, somewhere around there. But if you've had a long day or if you're an experienced drinker, I think 2 full ounces is definitely okay to keep up with. So we're going to go back into that 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice or 30 ml, right? Is that 30? 22 ml, sorry.
22, exactly.
22 mLs. All right. 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice. And then here's where it gets interesting. I've got because my friends are in Israel. I know pomegranate is such an abundant material there. That's another reason why I love using this drink because I made some Humid Grenadine, which is one of my favorite things in the whole world. It's a little different than Rose's Grenadine. The homemade stuff is a whole lot better. It's something you can actually drink instead of it just giving you a diabetic attack. So I want to go in and I'm going to use a full ounce of that. And I'll post something a little bit later on social media about my recipe for that. But it's actually super easy. And if I can do it, you guys can do it as well.
If I
Okay?
can do it, anyone can do it. Bob actually blended me his recipe because we have pomegranates everywhere over here, and I whipped up a whole bunch to make a bunch of cocktails. So it was super easy. I highly recommend it. So I put a whole ounce of that. Yeah, that's 30 mLs.
And then
wait, what are you doing now?
I'm going to use some Aquafaba again. If you want to use an egg white, please feel free.
I'm going for the egg.
Get in there. So one of my favorite things to do is to accidentally drop an entire egg in my drink. And it happens to me all the time. If you guys accidentally drop the whole thing in your drink at home, don't worry. It's not a wasted drink. You don't have to throw all that out of there. You can actually, you can still drink it. It's going to give it a different texture, different color, the whole thing. But there are cocktails with whole eggs in there. It's not going to get you. Egg whites and cocktails have been around for hundreds of years. Nobody's ever died from them because the alcohol kills anything in there. All right. That's it. Okay, so let's give this another dry shake. Now that we got everything in here. Give it a nice whip around. Be careful if you're using egg whites because the egg whites tend to expand when they're in there, and so out and it'll give it sort of spray. You weren't stuff joking, Bob. Kind of make it sometimes. I typically do it over the trash can or over the sink when I'm at home. But yeah, just a nice little dry shake there. And we're going to add some ice and go back in for our hard shake. All right. Hand on the top, hand on the bottom. Don't make any mess. Have at it. Get after it.
Oh, I'm behind, Bob. Wait for me.
You can tell when it's starting to be, when it's about ready, when you can see like the condensation forming on the outside. That's about right. You can kind of call it quits right about there.
Nice and fresh.
Nice and fresh. Nice and frosty. Okay, and then I'm going to go in. I'm going to use a coupe glass, a Nick and Nora, whatever you have laying around. Ooh, and I love this color. I love that. That is really pretty.
I wonder if it'll fit in my jumbo glass. Dare I risk it?
Think you ought to try it.
So another great way to get that ultra fine texture on that foam is to double strain. So I'm using a very fine strainer plus the actual strainer for the mixer, and that's how we're getting that extra foam to be super fine for the drink.
Okay, I'm going to go walk over here, Em, and I'm going to go pick out an image. Do you have anything you want to suggest? You got anything in mind?
Well, Bob, all that Christmas content is just screaming to me right now. I love so much of it. It reminds me of home, reminds me of where I wish I could go visit. Can't fly anywhere these days with all the normal life that's happening. So let's print something that reminds me of home. So let me see. I'm printing. Bob's printing. So this is our Clover Club with the egg white.
I'm making a mess over here, by the way.
It's okay. We can't see you. You can't see my mess. We're good.
Well, I stumbled on my way over there, so I've got some Bourbon Clover Club in the middle of my garage here.
So I actually have Santa riding a reindeer on my Clover Club. That's great, isn't it? What a beautiful color it is, too. So festive. Maybe we'll put a couple of pomegranate fruits on top. See if we can balance it on top of the egg white. That's so pretty. That's what I love about ripples. You can also add your own garnish on top of the designs that are already created. Show me what you got, Bob.
Oh, mine, I stumbled again, so it doesn't look real pretty, but I'm going to drink
it. Cheers. Look at that color. Pomegranate juice.
Pomegranate and bourbon. Who knew it was going to work that well together?
Bob, it's perfect.
That is delicious.
This is my new drink. I thought whiskey sours was my drink after Chicago, and now it's pomegranate sours.
Pomegranate, that's right. Bourbon Clover Club.
Bourbon Clover Club by Bob Peters. I definitely recommend that. We actually have a question from the audience. Bob, have you ever used pineapple juice specifically to create foam on cocktails?
I have. Back in my former days as like a super high volume bartender when I was young and attractive and unfettered with the world, we used to make tons and tons of a drink called Royal Flush. And in the neighborhood that I was working in here in Plaza Midwood in Charlotte, North Carolina, the trick was to add a splash, and I know this is blasphemy to some people, but the trick was to add a splash of pineapple juice, and then we'd shake the bejesus out of it, and it was really foamy and beautiful. Now, I'm not sure that bubble is quite firm enough for the Ripples machine to print a beautiful image on. I really like the stability of egg whites and Aquafaba. However, if you are just looking for some foam, pineapple juice will work for sure.
Yeah, that's some stable foam we got with that egg white. And to answer those questions about flavor, honestly, fresh eggs, you can't smell it. Not with the bourbon, not with the pomegranate. It's pure deliciousness. It's a smooth cocktail, balanced perfectly with a half sweetened, I would say, syrup style. I really quite love it.
Yep.
I'm a fan. Production's not getting this one. You guys go sit down. Mine.
People ask a lot, and I'm sure that this question is going to come up, like, why egg whites, right? And so there's a sort of a multi-tier answer to that. One of them is that egg whites, if you have an aggressive or an assertive flavor in your drink, egg whites will sort of mute that a little bit. Now, if you're using that as a tool, it's a really beautiful tool to have in your pocket. If you're creating a recipe, then you have something that you enjoy, but it's a little much on your palate. Needs to be turned down a little bit. Egg white is an easy fix. Also, not only the flavor wise, but the texture of the cocktail turns into something way different. The viscosity is a little bit thicker. The texture is silky and smooth. And again, you get that really beautiful foam on top that's so attractive. It gives me sort of the funny, what is it, the Big Lebowski mustache every time. But I think it's a small price to pay for a delicious cocktail.
Absolutely. No, it's so smooth, like you're saying, with the egg white. I really like it.
Okay, how are we doing over there?
Doing good. So now that I use the egg and all that ice, I should probably definitely clean that out, give it a rinse. So conveniently, we have the sink right behind me. And we're moving on to a completely different flavor profile. When I read this recipe, I was very excited because I absolutely love the ingredient that we used.
Good. So for the third one, if you guys, I hope you all are ready. The third cocktail is kind of similar to what we've been doing before, because we're going to use bourbon, we're going to use citrus, and then we're going to add a little bit of flavor and sugar, sort of at the same time. Okay, so the secret ingredient for this, adapt this any way you want to for your home or your personal flavors, your personal preferences at home. But what I did is I made a chai tea syrup. Now, I love chai tea. I think this is delicious, and I think it tastes very, very fall, very winter, very holidays. So I love chai tea. Now, this one is got a little extra vanilla. There's all kinds of chai teas that you can have. You can make yours at home from scratch. You can buy them at the store. There's really no wrong answer for that. Or you don't even have to use chai tea at all. Earl Grey tea would work really well. If you're a fan of green tea or matcha, literally anything you want to do. And we're going to stick to that 2 parts liquid, 1 part sugar ratio, like we did with our simple syrup. But we're just going to transfer that ideology to our tea. And with the chai tea that I did, I brewed this about twice as strong. And instead of steeping it for only 2 or 3 minutes like a normal tea that you're going to drink, then I steeped this for about 20 minutes. Now, what that does to the tea is it doesn't necessarily make an amazing tea to drink, but it makes an amazing tea to turn into a syrup, to turn into a cocktail. And all I did with that is, the reason is because I wanted tons and tons of flavor out of it, thus brewing it doubly strong. So I used the normal amount of water and put twice as many tea bags in there. And then I steeped it for 20 minutes because not only am I trying to leach out all those beautiful little tiny flavors in there, but when you oversteep tea, you also get bitterness. That's right. And I love that bitterness because we're going to add sugar to it. So that's sort of going to cancel it out. But you're going to get that really big, beautiful depth of flavor in there that comes along with bitter notes inside your cocktail. So that was the thought process behind how I brewed my tea doubly strong and for 20 minutes long. And then I just strained it out. And again, I measured my liquid, and then I took half of that as much for sugar, and then added it and mixed it up and then that way it dissolved completely. And voila, you get a tea syrup, in my case, chai tea syrup. Emily, what did you choose to do?
So I've actually taken our local chai masala from Witzotsky's tea, and I actually used 3 tea bags and kind of double the liquid, same like you said, with the amount of sugar. I halved the amount of liquid I had. I measured the liquid and I put half the sugar that was liquid, mixed it in while it was still warm, steeped it for at least 30 minutes while I was doing work here around the office. And it is amazing. I can drink this stuff. It's pretty great.
It is great. And this is a really easy way to get a very personalized, very custom flavor and to personalize your craft cocktails at home. And I think it's really easy. And again, you know, if I can do it, if Emily can do it, you guys can do it at home. And the possibilities with this sort of idea are literally boundless. I've had some really cool peppermint teas around Christmas time that I absolutely love. At the Grinning Mule, where I work right now, we have a craft cocktail with a gingerbread tea, which is just a knockout. And I really like how this turned out.
Sounds delicious.
Okay, well, let's make a drink, lady.
Sounds good.
So let's go back. We're going to do the same thing, anywhere from 1.5 ounces all the way up to 2 ounces.
I'm going to actually double it right off because production's getting a little crazy on set.
We're going to give him 2 full ounces. He's got the day off.
Right. We're going 4 on my side, 4.
You gonna make a big one?
Yeah, we're making 2 glasses.
Okay, excellent. So next, I'm going to do a little bit different citrus, but the idea still here is the same. I'm going to use 1/4 ounce of fresh squeezed OJ. Again, you have to use the fresh citrus, right?
Super fresh.
And then there's 1/4 ounce of lemon juice. I think that the OJ really rounds out the flavors in the chai tea really well. And you guys might have to play around with that a little bit at home if you have a little something different. Lemon and tea, to me, always works well. So if you want to be on the safe side, I would just use 1/2 ounce of that lemon and then maybe skip the OJ. But with the chai, I really think the OJ makes a great accent. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to use a full ounce of this chai tea. The chai tea syrup, excuse me.
We're going 2.
There we go. Side. And then if you're going to use egg whites, use egg whites. 1 egg white or 1 ounce of egg whites, aka 1 ounce of Aquafaba if you're trying to go totally vegan or
vegan friendly.
Vegan friendly, that's it. Okay. Give that dry shake. There it is. You guys be careful not to make a mess.
Yeah, we're making a mess. But if you're not making a mess, you're not having fun, right?
That's it. That's it. Okay, let's add a little bit of our ice. Okay, let's again really lock that tin down in there really well so that it doesn't expand in there and make a mess. Get it one on top, one on the bottom. Give it a good hard shake. You want to shake it so that shaker starts to get a little condensation on the outside. There we go. I'm starting to get a little bit out there.
You can actually feel it change texture while you're shaking.
You can totally feel it, right? Isn't that funny?
It's amazing,
okay.
Actually.
Now we're just going to strain that off. I'm going to use a Nick and Nora glass, which is one of my favorite all times.
So I got the Nick and Nora over here, which I learned was not called a cut-off wine glass.
I don't know. I kind of like that better. I don't mind that.
So again, I'm holding that strainer nice and low to that foam, even in the foam. And we have 2 perfect drinks. Production's going to be happy. And maybe 1.5. All right, perfect. So everyone, just wanted to let you know that mine and Bob's recipes for Mixed Drink Monday will be available in the Instagram bio. There's a link in there. You can click it. You'll be able to get those. So please enjoy the recipes that are written down for you to share and to try them for the holiday season.
I'm going to try to find something without spilling it.
Yeah, I didn't spill anything. What are you talking about? Taking public transportation tonight. We're good. We're good. All right, I got 1 printed. Woo! So that ripple maker is dressing up our drinks in 10 seconds. We're using all natural extracts. For those who may have just joined us now, We are making cocktails for the holiday season to help us get through this wild holiday season. There we go. And I'm going to come nice and close to the camera. That's where we've disappeared, is to our ripple makers. Can you see that? That's our reindeer in a sweater design, which is actually, just to let you know, one of our most popular designs this holiday season. It's been great. And then next, like I said, I promised 2 drinks. We've got Frosty.
Oh, that one looks great.
And look at the foam. It's just perfect.
You can't see mine as well. That one looks amazing.
I cannot wait to taste this. I've been dying to taste this all day. All right, we're going to hand those off to more responsible people. There you go, team.
Perfect.
I had a great teacher. I gave myself a little taste test over here. Don't you worry. I get to taste it too.
What do you think?
Bob, that's really special.
I think it's yummy. I really I love how that one turned out. I think that's
comforting, and it's got like a little bit of that cinnamony twist in the back. It hits you on the tongue in the middle.
Yeah.
But the orange totally elevates it to a different level. I want more.
I agree. I do. I know. Take some more, please.
That's delicious. So,
oh, I think that's amazing. I love chai. I mean, I love chai tea. If you hate chai tea, you're not gonna like it with chai tea. So pick some. But I made cocktails again with like Earl Grey. I love my green tea. I love there's all kinds of stuff. Chamomile. Any of those things works really well. I love doing things that are seasonally appropriate because there's so much of it in the tea world. I just go wild with that. I mean, there's 100 different things you can use, and it's not expensive either. You know, like a whole box of tea is only a couple bucks. So, I mean, just experiment with it. That part should be one of the most fun parts that you could possibly do.
And remind me what you named this one again, because it's so cute.
Chai Me to the Moon.
Remember and we will sing forevermore. Definitely a favorite song.
I know. I think it's
so
great.
Classic.
I think it's super sweet.
Amazing.
What's going on?
I can hear you, but I can't see you anymore. But
my Skype is going a little.
Yours and mine both. So we actually want to talk a little bit more about foaming agents. So we were talking about eggs. Eggs is the classic. It's been around forever and ever. And yeah, we're also noticing. There we go. We got you back a bit.
All right.
So eggs, great foamer, nice and smooth, gives your whole cocktail a special texture. That's what we heard today. One of my personal favorites, honestly, it blew my mind. Take the good old garbanzo beans, the chickpeas in a can, just drain out that fluid, collect that liquid. I keep it for about a day and a half, 2 days max, and it's going to make that same beautiful texture. And it really, I think because it's salty, I don't taste it in my cocktails. And I think the saltiness is something that balances out by all the sweet and the spicy. So it's just that extra layer that balances the cocktail out. So you can't taste that it's chickpea water. And that's something that's so incredible about it. Gives you that beautiful texture, and it's vegan friendly. No animals were harmed in this product, which is super, super important. We've actually worked with a few different foaming agents here at HQ to figure out what foams, what doesn't. I love that somebody asked the pineapple question. Does pineapple foam? We found some success with pineapple. It foams. Anything with a protein is going to foam. So everything from espresso. If you put a long shot of espresso into your cocktail, work it into your recipe, it's going to create that perfect foam. Put heavy cream into your recipe. Again, 22 milliliters or more, you're going to get another foam. You got to really shake that cream to get it to fluff up, and you're going to be able to print on it. Something else we've worked with here at HQ is something called albumin. And albumin is a powder that you use in the food industry, and it foams like eggs because it's made out of eggs. It's dried eggs, so you don't have to worry about using too much or buying a dozen of eggs and it going bad. You have the albumin in the closet, in the cupboard, and you use it when you need it. You emulsify it completely into liquid, and it does what an egg does, but it's not vegan friendly. So there are some pluses and minuses with everything.
So let me ask you about the albumin. Do you use that in your cocktail, like scoop it out and put it in your cocktail dry, like a teaspoon of it or something?
Exactly. So you actually use 1 gram of the albumin, and I actually mix it with a little tiny bit of water. So 22 milliliters of water, that's 3/4 of an ounce water, and I mix it in like I would any of my other regular foamers, and it creates that perfect foam, and it's preserved eggs that just makes that cocktail super foamy and perfect canvas to print on as well. So those are little tips and tricks from us. So
I like it. One thing that we did when we were in Chicago, when we were at the big restaurant convention together, is we use you can use the Aquafaba or the egg whites, and you can use it in an ISI canister, a foamer, right? And so then that's another thing you can do. There's different recipes you can use. We did an Aquafaba Saint Germain foam, so we used I think about 4 or 8 ounces for a 1 liter canister. I think it was 8 ounces of Aquafaba, and then about 4 ounces of lemon juice, and then we used 4 ounces of simple syrup, and then we used somewhere around 4 ounces of Saint Germain as well. So it actually flavored the foam, put a little alcohol in there, and then it was instant. Like, it came out really, really fast. The one thing you have to be careful there with is not to get it too cold. But if you just keep it in the refrigerator, then I think that worked out really, really well. And this is a great alternative to shake too much if you're in a high volume place.
I actually love the siphon. We call it a siphon here, or siphon, where you get that foam directly into that canister. It pumps it with nitrogen. I have a whole thing with nitrogen and how nitrogen bubbles just make the most perfect surface to print on. So those canisters are amazing especially if you're doing like a lot of cocktails one after another. Like we were in Chicago. I don't even know how many cocktails you guys made that weekend. It was a week. It was absolutely insane. So without that siphon, we wouldn't have been able to produce that level of foam constantly perfect for every single person and print them each one. It was absolutely perfect. For any of you joining late, we actually have all of our recipes in the Drink Ripples Instagram link. So you can download an actual PDF file with all of the recipes from Bob and all of my recipes for the past 3 weeks on Mixed Drink Monday posts. And you can make those mixed drinks at home for yourself for the holiday season. So, Bob, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks
It's
again.
been great. Thank you for joining us. It's been really good. And until we can fly in the sky, I guess this is how we're going to have to meet and have drinks, because I don't see Chicago happening anytime soon.
Well, that's all right. Listen, I'll take what I can get. And this, to me, I think is equally as fun if we can all share a little bit of time together and we can steal some time with each other. This is better than nothing. So I really appreciate everything. And I can't thank you guys enough for thinking of me when thinking about Mixed Drink Mondays. And I want to know when we're going to do another one. When are we going to do it?
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm going to convince them that no, next week. We will definitely talk about more of this in the future. We definitely need more of this. The live interaction is fun. It's amazing to actually see somebody that I miss so much just like a few inches away from me and actually like 14,000 kilometers away. It's really, really warmed my heart that you welcomed us in and took the time to spend with us and teach us something new. It's really been a special, special experience. And thank you, Bob. Really, thank you.
Well, thank you. If anybody of you guys out there have any suggestions or things that you want us to go over in the future or anything on Mixed Drink Mondays, please just shoot us a little message and we'll put it together for you guys. Thanks again.
Perfect. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for joining.
We'll see y'all next time.